Face the American flag. Anyone that's a veteran, you've earned the right to salute. Everybody else, hats off, hand over your heart. And when we say the pledge, we say it loud. We say it proud, because we're proud of America and that flag. Are you ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Thank you. Woo.
Thank you very much. It's amazing to me that we have to come defend something as important as a constitutionally enumerated rights right on Halloween Day in Boston before a weekend. You know, that's the way it is.
Unfortunately, I think that we lost our audio. That didn't take long. Unfortunately, that shows how our elected officials feel about our enumerated rights. Unfortunately for us, we have to come here and defend our rights. And I believe that all civil rights are worth defending. And the Second Amendment stands in the gap towards all other rights. They are the cornerstone that other rights can be built from. Because as our founders so eloquently put, they were there for one reason and one reason only, to make sure that tyranny never rears its ugly head again. A lot of people want to use some sort of modern analog for a reason to restrict the right to keep and bear arms and say, why does anybody need this, or why does anybody need that? Friends, there's only one reason why we have the right to keep and bear arms, and that is because, as the early patriots knew, when the British were sailing back across the sea, there was one safety relief valve to tyranny raising its ugly head again, and that is good people that have morals and that are religious and that have the foundation of America at heart and the Constitution at heart, being willing and able to prevent a tyrannical regime from ever raising its ugly head again. It has nothing to do with putting meat on the table or some recreational shooting or collecting, although all those fall under the umbrella. But I promise you one thing, that the foundation that this country was built upon, certain unalienable rights endowed by our Creator, that is not something that man with an elected position in this building behind me can take away. Our rights are fully intact. And right. What we have today are people who raised their hand and swore an oath to protect and defend a Constitution, and then turn around and go back into those chambers and become the very enemy of that thing that they swore to protect. And they use some sort of modern analysis of how, you know, guns in the hands of people that are responsible, safe, and productive citizens makes us all less safe. Nothing could be further from the truth. Just since the last year, when Chapter 135 was signed into law, and then a ballot committee got formed, and we got 100,000 people to sign a petition to put it on the ballot to suspend the law, Maura Healey stepped in and signed an emergency preamble and short-circuited that campaign. Yes, we're on the ballot, but the law is in place now. And in the last year, what do we have to show for it? We have rampant crime. There's more murders in Massachusetts this year to date than all of last year. We are not safer. By restricting the lawful, peaceful citizen, you can never make society safer. It's inefficient, it's unconstitutional, and it would never be tolerated for any other constitutional rights in society. Right now, I'd like to welcome up to the podium Senator Peter Durant, who has put in a couple of really good bills that we're out here in support of today. We're going to have a hearing on that, so
try to get back our rights. It started over 2 years ago when this law was proposed. We saw just the outrage that it produced. We saw all the stop HB 4420 signs all around the Commonwealth as this movement started to take place. Toby took the ball and he went full steam with it, brought out the signature gathering, he did all the work necessary, but much like our oppressors in England 250 years ago, the Massachusetts Governor Moore Healy squashed that attempt, or tried to squash it, by signing that emergency preamble. Today we continue to take that fight up to the State House. We take that fight into the building today to work on repealing some of this horrible law, as well as continuing our efforts for next year's ballot question. This is so important. Your rights are so important. And Toby speaks so much more articulately on those. But guys, we need to be focused here. Staying focused on what's important, and that's moving to the end. This is a long battle ahead of us. It's not going to end overnight, and it's going to take us until 26, when we can get the voters out, so we can have the voters' voice heard, and we can finally, hopefully, get this horrible law repealed. Stop making criminals out of law-abiding citizens. Maura Healey's doing a great job of having criminals within her own administration. She doesn't need to make war. And all we want to be able to do is exercise our rights. So God bless you, everybody. We hope to see you inside. Let your voices be heard. There's been a lot of important bills today. And again, remember, your being here is so important because today was an important day of why they did this, right? It's no coincidence that this hearing is being done on a Friday and being done on a Halloween Friday when everybody wants to go home, when everybody wants to have their kids go trick-or-treating. So your appearance here means a lot. It means you're committed and that we're committed to repealing this horrible law. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I'm not as well spoken as the senator is and everything, so I've got most of my stuff written down. But to start with, thank you all for coming out. It really does mean a lot for those of us who are putting our bills out there and really trying to buck the system that's inside. To see all the support out here from you guys, it means a tremendous amount. But to start with, we all know why we're here, and talk a little bit about the history that got us to this point. So Massachusetts, as you guys know, has a long history of infringing on our right to self-defense. As a matter of fact, in the Constitution, Article 17, it provides for gun, yes, it provides for firearm ownership, but it's only for the common defense. And the Supreme Judicial Court has upheld that even from the beginning, even from the get-go, the state of Massachusetts has not believed in personal firearm protection, right of self-defense. So one of the big things is that we've got this no kings thing going on, but it's readily apparent that those inside are all for it. They haven't separated from the King of England yet. But in 1780, they were bitter. And much like today, they signed a new constitution, one that recognized the need for citizens to own firearms. However, it's only for the common defense and not for personal defense. In 1906, Massachusetts started again with gun control by providing for licenses for concealed carry. That was given by permission by your town administrators, select board members. They were the ones who granted permission. In '74, Massachusetts passed the Bartley-Fox Act that imposed a minimum 1 year in prison for possessing a firearm. I have a neighbor
who was actually arrested under this law. Like one of the only people that was arrested under this law. He was adjudicated and convicted of possessing a firearm without a license. He was on appeal. They dropped it from carrying, got possession, and he spent 1 year on probation. That 1 year of probation has haunted him his entire life. 40 years later, he is a decorated Navy veteran. He is a decorated firefighter in our community. He is blue collar through and through, and a gentleman through and through. And now, he can't get a license to carry. Throughout those last 40 years, he's had a firearms identification card, but that's not good enough anymore. And the long guns that he purchased during that time legally, he can no longer possess. He can no longer carry those firearms. He can't go hunting because they're semi-automatic rifles, semi-automatic shotguns. This is the problem that we have. There is no redemption. There is only more control. And Chapter 135 is just getting started. I don't know if anybody followed me on Facebook, but the registration scheme has just begun. We have 1 year to comply before the fines and the jail terms start. They want your guns. They want your freedom. With all of the patchwork of restrictions on where you can carry, who can carry, you're making it nearly impossible, especially for new owners, to know what they can do safely and legally. And this is what we have to prevent. This is what we have to stop. This is the reason for the repeal of 135. And with that, thank you very much. I hope to see you all inside. Appreciate the support.
Thank you everybody for coming out today, and thank you Toby for picking up this mantle and protecting everybody's rights here, not the interest of himself, but for all residents. As we've heard many times from Toby, Rep. Gasky, and the Senator, and everyone you'll hear from today, there's no shortage of problems with Chapter 135 and how they want to take away your lawful right to own a firearm, protect your family, and resist tyranny. But beyond the problems with the law itself, as you've heard, was the implementation. They are not happy to go through the public hearing process and hear out its residents and do things the right way. They have no shame in clawing away your rights, taking the authority away from yourself, your family, your towns, and your local communities. The same thing they do with firearms and MBTA communities and everything that they're doing to take away local control and put it in this building that was once considered the shining beacon on a hill, the city on a hill, an example for our new nation, is now the perfect example of everything that is wrong with government. It's inexcusable, and that's why we must draw a line in the sand here with 135. When 100,000 residents of this great Commonwealth sign and say, we do not agree, and the governor comes with the stroke of a pen and says that she can do what she wants and this law must go into effect, the voters be damned, there is a group of your representatives that will say no, and will make sure that we stand up and that the 100,000 and beyond are heard and get their day in this law. We will make sure on every issue that this is the case. We will have the fight today for the next few hours, and I hope you will join us. Yes. We thank you so much for coming in. Again, they did this on purpose to shrink the crowd and make sure that the regular voter was not heard. It should not be the responsibility when you have kids to raise and homes to take care of to constantly have to fight for your constitutional rights. And yet that is what is required this day and age. So I cannot thank you enough, because when you come here, it gives us the ability to stand up for you. We can't do it alone on an island, and it takes a crowd, and it takes the 100,000 plus. So thank you for today, and we will continue the fight. Amen. Thank you.
Introduce my state rep, who's been fighting for us down on the Cape, State Rep Steve Exaros. He's going to come and say a few words for us right now, and so thank you for coming, Steve.
Thank you, brother. God bless Toby Leary. Make sure you watch his video.
That's right.
The title, Become Ungovernable. It's beautiful. Thank you. I am Steve Exaros. I represent the Fighting 5th Barnstable District. I'm a proud Republican, just like Rep Sweezy, just like Rep Gasky. We're here because we believe. This is the people's house. We started America 250 years ago this year. Be proud of that. This is Boston. We are Massachusetts. I was born in Massachusetts, and I'm proud of that. We're fighters. Right across that monument says it all. We fight for freedom. Why? Because I don't want to lose another son. When you send a son off to war and you hug him, and you don't want to let him go, but you have to. And he comes home in a flag-draped coffin. I've never seen his body. He rests in peace at age 21 in the National Cemetery. Go visit him. When you did the pledge with me, it means a lot. That flag is the flag of America. Everybody knows it. It means freedom. It comes at a price. If we want to stop crime, it's very easy. Put more police officers in schools and neighborhoods. Stop paying bail of criminals that are arrested. We pay their bail. That's wrong. Stop revolving door justice. If they break the law, put them behind bars. Protect us. More gun laws does not do anything about crime except punish licensed gun owners like me. When we create safe zones where licensed gun owners cannot carry a firearm, that becomes one of the most dangerous places on earth. So me and us, we have a hearing today. I thank you, Toby, from the bottom of my heart. Everybody here, this is how it works. I lost a son in war, United States Marine Corporal Nicholas G. Exaros, born and raised in Massachusetts, rests in the only national cemetery in New England. Back home on Cape Cod, I have another son, Alex. He's a police officer, just like I was. He wears the flag on his shoulder, a Glock, and the American flag. And I don't want to lose another son. So God bless you. Thank you.
So someone that I owe a lot of gratitude to runs a very important organization here in Massachusetts, Gun Owners Action League. They need no introduction, but I'm going to give them one because they've been working hard for as long as I've been alive to preserve and protect and defend the people's rights here in Massachusetts. It's sad that we have to have a statewide organization, and we often joke that we're trying to put them out of a job because we shouldn't need an organization that goes every day to the State House and lobbies for something that should be settled law from 1791, a settled right, but yet here we are in 2025, and Jim Wallace, who's doing a lot of good work at Gun Owners Action League. If you're not a member and you're a gun owner, I don't know what to say. You should be.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming out, Jim, and supporting. We've been really proud as the Civil Rights Coalition to partner with Gun Owners Action League, who is kind of the mentor and the example and been doing this work for over 50 years. So thank you, Jim. Come on up and say a few words for Gun Owners Action League.
I think I'll have Toby before my board of directors when my next review is up. So, and I will say one thing, that I will gladly trade the supposed king in Washington for the wicked queen upstairs. Anyway. Now, I want you all to carefully look behind me. Look at what you're seeing. Is there anything behind me that says, "You're the people, welcome to the people's house"? Everything about this building is designed to keep you and your opinions and your beliefs out. And I'm going to tell you, after COVID, something really dark happened in this building. I actually wrote an article about how the State House lost its soul. And when I speak at universities and I talk about COVID, I tell them the most dangerous thing that happened during COVID wasn't the disease, wasn't the vaccinations, oh, we'll find out about that, wasn't the mask mandate. It was that every level of government, from the very bottom to the very top, reached to find their boundaries. They didn't find any. They realized in this building post-COVID, they don't need us. They don't care what we have to say anymore. We stopped that bill cold for a year. We stopped the Speaker of the House cold. And I've never seen that in my 30-year career. Cold. You did that. And the only way they got this thing passed was to go dark for 3 months. And then suddenly, at 8 o'clock at night, release a 158-section bill destroying your civil rights and voting on it in less than 24 hours. So I would welcome all of my felons in waiting to come in and give them hell today. And my staff will tell you, my friends will tell you, this is the first time I'm going to tell you this. For 25 years working for Goal, I have said when you go to a hearing, be professional, be polite, and be to the point. Today's the first time I'm going to tell you, screw that. If you notice, I don't wear a suit anymore when I come to this building because they don't deserve the respect a suit displays.
Good for you.
So I can't wait to go inside and have a friendly discussion with the people that passed what history will say was the worst attack on civil rights in modern U.S. history. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jim. And I'd like to introduce to you all a gubernatorial candidate running for governor. And God knows we need a new governor in this state.
There you go.
It should be the low-hanging fruit. It should be the easy picking this election cycle. And I'm really proud to announce actually two gentlemen today. But first up is Brian Shortsleeve, who I've got to know over the past few months, and we just recorded a podcast. I know Mike Keneally's going to be doing my podcast as well. So come on up, Brian. He's a Marine, and he deserves a big round of applause.
Well, thank you, Toby. Thanks, Carrie Ann. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Senator Durant. Awesome group. My name is Brian Shortsleeve. I am going to defeat Maura Healey. I proudly served our nation. Yeah, that's good, right? I think everyone supports that. Look, I proudly served our nation as an officer of the Marine Corps. I defended the Constitution, our rights, and our freedoms. And I'm here today to keep fighting for the right of every law-abiding citizen who deserves a government that respects and honors their rights. Maura Healey has infringed on the rights of law-abiding gun owners, punishing responsible citizens just to look tough on crime, when the truth is her policies have made our communities less safe. Maura Healey has rolled out the carpet for illegal immigrants. She has failed to require proper background checks. She keeps our police from cooperating with ICE. That's not leadership, it's lawlessness. Just 2 weeks ago, not too far from here, I went to the corner of Mass Ave and Tremont. And that is where on a Saturday night, a Boston police cruiser was burned to the ground. The men responsible, they get out the next morning on $1,500 of bail. Prosecutors were looking for $37,000. It's completely unacceptable. And it sends a message in this state that there are no consequences for crime. And it tells our police
that our governor and our mayor will not back them up. That ends when I am governor. It's time to stand up for our law-abiding citizens, our police, and our constitutional rights. It's time to repeal Chapter 135 and stop punishing responsible gun owners. As your next governor, as your next governor, I will fight every day, to protect your rights, secure our communities, and restore accountability on Beacon Hill. So today, I'm asking you to join us, not as Republicans or Democrats, but as proud Americans who believe in law, order, and liberty. Together, we will take back our state. Together, we will make Massachusetts strong and safe again. I'm Brian Shortsleeve. I am ready to fight. I'm ready to win, and I hope you will join us. Thank you, Toby.
Mike Keneally, another great candidate for governor here in the state, who is a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. We've had a few conversations. I'd like to ask him to come on up and talk about his campaign and also this historic fight for our Second Amendment rights. Come on up, give him a hand. How often do we have such great candidates running for governor? And thanks for coming up. I appreciate it.
Joby, thank you so much. Can folks hear me okay? Yeah. Let me make the most obvious point in the world, which shouldn't have to be made. The people in that building work for us. Not the other way around. And I want to go work in that office up there and work for you. Okay? Now, when I started my campaign in the earliest days, I said I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment, and I strongly support the repeal of Chapter 135. Let's get this done. And about 2 weeks after I launched my campaign, by the way, I live in Lexington, we celebrated Patriots Day, the 250th anniversary of the Battle of Lexington, when patriots took up arms on our green and fought for our nation. And we should never forget the spirit of that battle and the spirit that birthed this new nation. We should never forget that. When I first looked at this issue, I learned a fancy term I've never heard before. I've studied government for a long time. How many people here ever heard the term emergency preamble before? I never heard of it. Right? Emergency preamble. That's a fancy word. Know what it really means? It really means state governments telling us, we know better. Right? They know better than us. Your voices wanted to be heard. You collected the signatures, okay? But Governor Healy says she knows better. And we see this attitude so much in our public life these days. In an audit of the legislature, that's 72% of the people who voted for, and they say, we know better. We don't want the audit, right? Well, Governor Healy said she'd have the most transparent governor's office in history. That hasn't happened. No public records, right? Out-of-state travel we don't know about. Out of control state spending. Lawsuits against our cities and towns, right? Every day they tell us that they know better. But enough of we know better. It's time for more we the people. Yeah. It's time for the folks in that building to listen to us, to hear our voices and enact policies that help move the state forward. And I want to be your governor, and that's what I want to do. Thank you for having me here today.
Both Brian and Mike being here today. I think it's really important to stand for what you would do, but also for what needs to be done today. And he brought up a great point. It's time to make them listen to us. We the people are the true fountain of power. With that, I would like to bring up Stephen Tonello, who's running against Michael Day. The guy
My name is Stephen Tonello, and I'm running against Michael Day for state representative. As we all know too well, Michael Day is a threat to our freedoms, our safety, and our constitutional rights. For too long, politicians like Michael Day have forgotten who they work for. They don't represent the people anymore. They represent their own political agendas, and nowhere is it more clear than Michael Day's proudest moment, or proudest achievement, Chapter 135. One of the most dangerous, overreaching, and unconstitutional laws ever passed in Massachusetts. Let's be clear what Chapter 135 really does. It doesn't stop crime. It doesn't make our community safer. What it does do is it punishes law-abiding gun owners, the men and women who follow the rules and exercise their constitutional rights responsibly. While Day and his friends on Beacon Hill are busy writing laws to make life harder for responsible citizens, real criminals are being released back onto our streets. Violent offenders are getting slaps on the wrist, drug dealers are back in our neighborhoods, and our police officers, the men and women who put their lives on the line every day, are being told to stand down. That's not justice. That's not leadership. That's failure. And it's time to hold Michael Day accountable for it. I am running because I believe in freedom with responsibility, law with order, and government with accountability. When I get to Beacon Hill, I will repeal Chapter 135, defend the Second Amendment, restore respect for the rule of law in this Commonwealth. I will fight to make sure our police are supported, our communities are safe, and our citizens are trusted and not treated like criminals. I am not running to be a career politician. I am running to serve the people, speak for those who have been ignored, and bring common sense back to Massachusetts government. Let's send a message to Beacon Hill that enough is enough. We want safety, not spin, freedom, not fear, leadership, not excuses. I am Stephen Tanulo, and together we're going to take back our state, one district, one vote, and one voice at a time. Thank you.
I hope he wins. I find it incredibly ironic that if you look at Michael Day's State House bio, he claims to be a civil rights advocate, and meanwhile put forth probably the most destructive civil rights bill in the history, as Jim Wallace pointed out. I'd like to bring one more speaker up. We have someone who's running on the national level this election cycle, Tyler McAllister, who's running against Bill Keating, for U.S. Rep. Come on up.
Good morning, everybody. Tyler McAllister. I'm running for the 9th Congressional District seat against Bill Keating. When Toby and John asked me to come today, I said absolutely. As a gun owner and hunter since the age of 15, I have been heavily involved in 2A advocacy within the state, and I plan to bring that to Congress when I get elected, because I want to see a national reciprocity for concealed carry within the country. But going back to 135, when I learned of 135, I grabbed 3 sheets of paper and I was knocking on people's doors, getting signatures to try to squash this and get it on the ballot. And as we all know, we had 76,000 signatures when the order was signed by Healy. You know, it's unfortunate because I have friends who are guides in duck hunting for sea ducks in my area of District 9 who lost a lot of business because of that decision. And that's when it starts getting home and it hits the people that actually have a living based upon hunting and the outdoors, it becomes a serious problem for me. So on the congressional side, I'm running because I've been heavily involved with federal fisheries my entire life, and I will bring some sense for Massachusetts to Congress and try to get people down in Congress to start listening to Massachusetts again, because I can tell you right now from my visits, Massachusetts is a giant joke. Capitol Hill, 100%. So Tyler McAllister, I'm running for Congress, Mass District 9, Southeastern Mass, New Bedford, Cape Cod, and I appreciate you having your taking
It's amazing to me that in New England, all of New England, we have exactly 0 Republican reps down in Washington, D.C., representing the 40-odd% Republicans that are up in this area. We got to change that. We got to get Tyler McAllister to go down to D.C. and do the great work. And we also want to leave enough time for everyone to get in there, get signed up to testify. And we're actually running on time, which is a miracle. When this many people get up to talk, especially me, I know how it goes. But one thing I want to bring your attention to,
you haven't shut up yet.
Is that's true. The feature of this bill, Chapter 135, that Mike Harris from Gun Owners Action League coined in one of the podcasts, is it'll take good people and put them in jail. We just saw Kyle Collada do 126 days behind bars for moving to this state and exercising a constitutionally protected right with guns he purchased lawfully and legally in Arizona. That is unbelievable that a right can be treated with such disdain in our state, that all you do is move here for a better life for your fiance and your stepson, and you get to serve 125 days or 126 days behind bars in prison. And when bail is finally set, it's $10,000. We just talked about the burning police cars and the broken nose of the police officer down the road for an illegal rally and a illegal street whatever closure that they did, and they get $1,000 bail or $500 bail. Make it make sense, because really all it is hostility towards good, responsible people, and let criminals out to reoffend. Thank you guys for joining us today. You can learn more at thecivilrightscoalition.com, gunownersactionleague.org, and find out a way to get involved, because we got a long run ahead of us for the next year. So thanks for coming, and I'll see you inside. Hopefully you'll testify. God bless.